feels great. And I think we're, as a group, we're extremely excited. And, we've been, throughout the off season, connecting with guys, connecting, with them through phone or through Zoom. So it's really good to start to see some guys face to face and get everybody here and get off and going. So we're excited. Obviously spring training, every year is an exciting time, and we're ready to get going. We're ready to get out, on the field and get playing. And so, and we still got a couple things to do. We got guys doing physicals and things like that today, and just finishing up, that side. So hopefully we can power through those things, the medical department, the training staff, and then this afternoon, get outside a little bit, play a little bit of catch, and realistically probably looking for, the first, probably day of action, tomorrow. But it is good to see everybody, and we're excited.
Different does it feel coming into spring training this year, having had that experience of success under your belt now?
Well, like we've talked about, we made some steps. We didn't ultimately get to our goal. And so we view, this year as another opportunity, but more importantly, we want to take steps. We want to grow. So we're excited. Obviously the front office, and, we address some needs that we think that is going to help us, certainly on, building depth in the bullpen, and certainly with the starting rotation. So now, as excited we are, we know we've got to go a little bit step by step. We got to make sure that, we're getting everybody in here healthy first and foremost. And then with the pitchers and catchers starting today, most importantly, we want to just make sure we have a clean runway for our pitchers to take off and to slowly, properly build up and get going, because we know health is going to be a big component of 2021.
How fun has it been for you to watch AJ in the front office this season just continue to add piece after piece of potential impact player to your roster to work with?
Yeah, it's just a lot of excitement, and I think that we feel that in a lot of phases. I think we feel it with the fans and the buzz going around. We feel it in the clubhouse with the players. We feel it with the coaching staff, the scouting department, and so there's a lot of excitement. And now it's going to be our job to get off, get going, build these guys up healthily, and then we've got to gel together as a group and come together with some new faces joining the team.
Seen Dinelson Lamet throw yet, and what's his status at this point?
I've only seen it on video right now, but he's here. He's doing his physicals, and he's been throwing his bullpens. He's been doing everything that our trainers and pitching coaches have recommended. And so each guy is going to be a little bit individual with their buildup. So he's going to be a guy that we're going to go kind of step by step and make sure we're good to go. But right now we feel really good about, where he's at, and he's going to be, throwing his bullpens and building up from there.
Question about, there was so much focus in the offseason organizationally about building rotation depth, and given the situation with, Dinelson Lamet and Chris Paddock trying, a little unsure what you might get there in year 3. How many have you projected out how many innings you need out of Blake Snell, you want out of Blake Snell? How important is it, with depth being a priority, that you get extended innings that he didn't have in Tampa?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about any type of limitations or putting a cap on really any of the guys. Now, that may be something that we may do, moving forward. But right now, we really haven't. Our main focus has been on tracking what they've been doing the months of December, January, February up to this point, understanding where they're at, and then making sure that we have eyes on them and that they don't step on the gas, I guess, too early is would be my point. So that's been more of our focus right now. He's going to throw his bullpen, I believe, tomorrow or Friday. And, we have some guys that, have been facing hitters, been doing some live BP. I think it's, pretty critical that all our guys, Larry, Fritz, the pitching coaches, the trainers, the scouts, that we get eyes on them, during their bullpens before we kind of go to those next steps. So right now, no, that we haven't really discussed any limitations, what we've been or caps on guys. We've been, discussing how do we build a big group up. And just like I said earlier, we want to just give them a clean, runway that they can take off on.
Tampa crunched the numbers and decided not to use him the third time through the rotation a lot. What's your confidence level that third time through the rotation and beyond, given conversations you've had with him, maybe a little bit of film you've watched, that extended possible role with you guys?
Yeah, well, my opinion of Snell when, he's healthy and he's right and everything's going, I think he's one of the best pitchers, in the game. So I think ultimately we've got a lot of confidence that he'll be capable of doing that. But that's something that we've got to work up to, that's something that, right off the bat, is that, going to happen. I think we need to be, smart on building him up and building him up properly.
Curious if you could take us back to late December, early January, when the conversations are happening, the moves are being made, what it was like to kind of be in your position, watching your team go from a good team to a really, really good team.
Yeah, ton of excitement. And, these things, they don't just happen. They've, we had talked about it for, weeks, months, et cetera. And so when it started to get, really close and kind of down where you could see the finish line, just a lot of excitement. And then, the deals are done, and, the reality is you're never done. AJ is never done. We're constantly looking to, add depth, improve the team, et cetera. So while we feel good about where we're at, right now we're still going to be looking to improve, and, that'll be, all throughout the season. So that part really, never stops. But it is nice to be able to address some areas that or needs on the team. And we think we've done that, and now we've got to get these guys ready and get them prepared. And that's going to be our job, to get them prepared physically, mentally, and then also the chemistry side, and get these guys working together, knowing one another, and just building strong relationships as well. Well, I think, a challenge, something that we've done a pretty good job of in the past, but we've just got to eliminate noise, and there's going to be, maybe more attention than we've had in the past, which is great. We've got to eliminate that. And, it's going to be our jobs. Like, we've got to master ourselves, and we've got to master our game, and we can't worry about the things on the outside. And we feel we've got enough talent in the room, but we feel if we're preparing, we're concentrating, we're working hard. If we can stay focused on playing our brand of baseball, we feel good about where the outcome could be.
Jayce, with all the questions this year about pitcher workloads and just ramping up to 162, how concerned are you about the possibility that your starting pitchers have to bat for themselves, especially with a guy like Blake Snell coming over from the AL?
That's a good question. Yeah, concerned for sure. That's very real. Some of the pitchers that, been in the American League or, even nationally, they haven't hit in 2 years. So that's definitely a concern. We're going to be, prepared. We're going to be prepared, on all fronts. We enjoy the National League style game. But we're totally flexible. We feel that we can go both ways. But to answer your question, yeah, there is some concern for sure. But we've got to start, day one of building these guys up, whether that's running the bases, whether that's bunting and starting a progression to swing the bat. But I'd be lying to you if I said, no, we're not concerned at all. That's very real. And I think it's important. I think it's important for the game of baseball. Obviously we're having way too many arm injuries. You're having too many star pitchers, too many good pitchers. They're missing time. And so I just think it's great for the sport to keep your players healthy on the field. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for fans. And so it's something that we do not take lightly.
Do you still have much hope personally that the universal DH still might happen at some point before opening day?
They're telling us to prepare as if it is not. And so that's, what we're planning to do the next 6 weeks. And if something was to change, we feel that we're a very flexible organization, a very flexible club, and we could adapt very quickly if that was to change. But right now we're preparing as if Major League Baseball told us that it's not going to happen.
Thanks, Jayce.
Marty Caswell.
Good to see you, Jayce. I know you missed all these Zooms. What does you Darvish bring to this team?
Well, he brings a ton of experience. He brings a unique background. He was dominated over in Japan, and obviously his story is pretty unique. And came over here to the States, has had a ton of success. Maybe the most success he has had is been within the last year and a half. He's overcome injury, but what does he bring? He's such a unique person. He's a big man. He's 6'6". He's flexible. He's so unique. He long tosses with both arms, left and right-handed. He is, in my opinion, right now, he's probably the best at manipulating the baseball and getting the ball to move at different directions. And now he's built up a lot of experience in this league. He knows how to attack hitters. He knows himself. So I think he's going to be able to bring not only quality innings, but a lot of experience over, not only to bring to our pitchers, some that are on the staff, but also to young pitchers, and just be able to share how he's been able to do it.
And if what is it that you want to see from Chris Paddock this spring?
I want to see him take his offseason workout into these bullpens, into the live BP, and into these games. So, I think it starts with, his fastball and being able to get that ride, that hop on the fastball. And when he's doing that, his changeup plays extremely well, and then be able to mix his other pitches in, whether that's the cutter or the curveball. So, I'm excited where he's at. And I just want to see him transition that work and take it out to the field here in Arizona.
Thank you.
Well, I do believe that we've got a lot of guys that have done it or are capable of doing it. And I always think it's good to have options and a ton of flexibility. And that's what we have. So we're not committed to anything, right now. We want to make sure, like I stated earlier, we've got to get through, we've got to check some things off the boxes. And get into games and get going. And then, we'll have an open competition. But I do believe we've got guys that are more than capable of doing it. And, once we get to that point and we're starting to get closer to the regular season, that's when we're going to have those discussions on roles and things like that. But I will say we're incredibly open-minded. We're not pot committed to one way or anything like that right now. And we're going to stay extremely flexible.
Ryan Weathers made his debut last year. Morejon was used a lot. Gore is supposed to be close. How do the additions impact, your plans for them developmentally?
It doesn't really impact them because we've always believed, you just mentioned 3 guys, I believe, like specifically, we believe so much in those guys and their talents that when they're right and they're progressing and they're pitching their A game and they're doing that consistently, I don't think anything's going to hold them back. So as long as that they're continuing to improve, I think there's going to be real opportunity for those guys, and it could be in different roles. So I think their timetable honestly is on them.
Well, like Morejon, Weathers, and Baez, will they be stretched out to start?
Morejon and Weathers will be, and Baez will be stretched out, but his may look more in multi-inning roles, whereas Weathers and Morejon are probably going to be getting some earlier starts, but all of them will be throwing multiple innings.